Hello. Yeah, I appreciate it, Kill too. Thank you guys. Yeah, interesting times. Justice for Hux, I guess. Seems to be. Hux ran or walked so that everyone else could run. Alright. We gotta work it out for us. So is this, do we know, is this like full pirate crew now, or is SM-33 for Hondo? I guess how do we even know? I mean, you assume Maz is probably rolling with the crew from that movie. So is Hondo rolling with Skeleton Crew? Is that just what's... I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Alright, what's going on? I have not really seen much of anything, but let's get things... I did look at this. Alright. Should we do mods first or kicks first? Maybe we do Maz first, huh? Maz Kanata. This I did see. Leader, support, pirate, scoundrel, smuggler, Ufu. Well, this is not really tag, but... Reaching into a few different piles for datacron purposes. Why is this here? Go ahead. Stealing... Whatever, I'm just gonna dive into the cap. I'm gonna read this stuff later. Final text at the start of each encounter if there were no GL allies. I mean, we already know she's not gonna be with Hondo. Although, that's not necessarily guaranteed, alright? It's... CG said she's not gonna be with Hondo, but that doesn't necessarily mean she's not gonna be with Hondo. All pirate and smuggler allies are immune to fear and they gain foresight for 1 turn. I want, like, serious questions already. Like, this kind of communicates they're worried about DR, because we know that SM-33 wants your leaders to get hit. And they gain foresight for 1 turn. We are seeing a lot of start a battle foresight lately. Very interesting. Although I guess some of it's only, like, seasonal temporary, like Mace's is... Well, at least the FTC for Jedi Temple Guard is seasonal. Yeah, I mean, starting foresight is a pretty powerful effect, right? It just, like, shuts off JML flux wholesale type deal. Stop you from doing, like, JMK. Pretty much all that stuff, right? Like, it doesn't hit all teams, but when it hits real damn hard. Whenever Maz gains a stack of profit, all of the pirate allies gain 1 stack of profit until the end of the encounter. Interesting. Profit sharing. XPO. Whenever a pirate ally with retribution uses a basic. I know Thano gains retribution when he loses force. I think it's foresight or something else. Uses a basic, they ignore that enemy's protection. We've seen that happening more with, like, Bad Batch. Whenever an enemy attacks out of turn, all pirate allies gain 5% turn meter. Alright, we got some reactivity. Alrighty. Not a bad place to start. If there were no GL enemies, if there were no GL enemies at the start of battle, if there's an enemy Sith, pirate allies take reduced damage from percent health effects. This is very... Well, my mind wants a Trey lead anti-assists. But obviously as well, again, this is another jab at, like, Malgus. Although, Malgus, it's the whole weird reset thing, right? Where, like, Malgus, I don't know if Malgus will be reduced. Like, we know Cal gets reduced and a couple other effects got reduced. there's a weird ambiguity. Maybe Malgus Dunk will be normal, but for sure, like Malek Drain will be reduced. Whenever they target enemies with an ability, they deal 30% more damage and ignore protection. Did they just like? Is this where Mace's power budget went? They're like, all right, Mace, we're not gonna let you do anything against Sith. We're gonna scoop that power budget out of your squad and then just put it into Maz as like anti-Sith. What happened? It's an anti-Trey, I call it. I don't know. It's Malak Drain is larger than Trey anti-Sith. Well, that's actually not technically true if you're like constantly assisting. It's both, right? It's pretty equal. 30% more damage and ignore protection at the start of each Sith enemy's turn. All pirate allies gain foresight for 1 turn. That is god awful for Nihilus. That just locks Nihilus out of the video game unless they have like the foresight is preventable, right? So there's not nothing you can do, but very anti-Nihilus coded. It's anti-thermodot, but that's specifically calling out Sith, so while there may be a Sith with debts in the future, today will not be that day. While in GAC and there are no GL allies, pirate allies gain 30% max protection at 30 speed. Whenever pirate allies scores a critical hit, they gain stacking tenacity until the end of the encounter. Interesting. If a pirate ally is instantly defeated by a non-GL enemy, that enemy is deathmarked for 1 turn, which can be copy, dispel, or prevented. A pirate ally uses this ability on their turn against an enemy with this death mark, they instantly defeat them. Okay. Crucially, so we know with like 1 turn death marks in the past, right? Like we talk about like Darth Revan 1 turn death mark is normally, I'm not going to say it's a bad thing by any means, but that can be a very narrow window sometimes. You might not even get to cash in on that window sometimes. Because this is specifically applying the moment that turn ends, though, that's an entire turn window to cash out. That I think that this is like, if it's going to be a 1 turn death mark, this is like the best case scenario for that, right? You get full opportunity to capitalize, unless their team can just like peel for that 1 turn and just like control you. Yeah. I mean, obviously, this is targeting JMK, right? If a pirate ally uses an ability on their turn against an enemy with this death mark, they instantly defeat them. So technically that also would have counterplay. But the death mark, even if you don't get to cash and use the defeat, death mark is very often and is defeated in its own right. Condition of no GL enemies at the start of battles removed on this ability? What the fuck? Huh? This is looking for no GL allies. Where? It's specifically no GL enemies, though, which I remember as being on the Sith clause. Is it just everything below this? I'm not sure I understand this. Classic legend enemies. Well, this is wait. This is non-GL enemy. Right, see, this is allies. Like, the majority of the mentions... Well, NM would be better. Yeah, so it's on the anti-Sith clause. It's on the instant defeat. But, like, I don't... Because this is already in the Omicron. So I think this is basically just saying that the anti-Sith works in GAC. If I understand this correctly. It's basically just saying, hey, we're looking out for C. Let's go versus CNLV. Well, LV doesn't have an instant defeat. But also, isn't C immune to taunt effects? Versus Trey LV. That is true. That is true, but that is such a niche call out. I would be shocked if that was deliberately what CG was going for. Trey LV, as far as I'm aware, is like pretty damn obscure. But yeah, like C is immune to taunt effects if I remember right, so he can't be death marked, so that does nothing to him. Well, I mean, it's not okay. My wires are getting crossed. Yeah, you get the anti-set bonuses against GLs. It doesn't have anything to do with death mark. All right. It's so extensive. This had enough text on it. I mentally was like, all right, well, that's Maz Kanata's kit. I unironically almost just went over to Kix's kit. That's what happens when you make a good kit, huh? All right. We should actually probably read Maz Kanata down, not just the lead. Final text, the maximum cap for profit effect is removed from Maz Kanata. So this is the 50% crit chance crit damage from old and new, right? So now it is uncapped. At the start of battle, if all allies are pirates, Maz gains 100% counter chance and 75% crit chance until the end of battle, 20% bulk until first defeat. If there were no GL pirates at the start of battle, at the start of Maz's turn, each encounter grants all non-pirate enemies five stacks of profit. So it's like, what, so you can steal profit? Weird. Give the enemy team 75% crit chance and crit damage? Wild. I don't know if we've seen anything like this ever since, like, Darth Revan release. Just, like, actively staking extra risk for your game plan. Weird. Interesting. If there are no GL pirates at the start of battle, crucially, I guess this also means this won't work against Hondo. Because this is not a sided check. Also, it's only at the start of Maz's first turn, so we'll have to see what her abilities do. It's not at the start of battle. Okay, so on your first turn, give enemies 5 stacks of profit. Whenever Maz crits, she steals attack of profit from that enemy until the end of the encounter. And then we already saw on the lead that when she gains profit, everyone gains profit. Whenever enemy loses all 5 stacks of profit, Maz gains a bonus turn. It's very, like a inverse Grand Inquisitor. It's kind of what it's reminded me of. While in Grand Arena and there are no GL allies, Maz gains 5% mastery whenever she gains a stack of profit for the rest of the encounter. Whenever enemy loses a stack of profit given from Maz, they also lose 5% of offense and 5 speed until the end of battle. Whenever pirate ally inflicts any debuff on their turn, they deal true damage to all enemies. What? Oh, it's only once per turn. Okay. That almost... the fucking AoE'd your Ampeg. Okay, yeah, once per turn is, like, less spicy. Not bad, but it's not... it's not Conquest Disc territory. Okay, I mean, the 5% mastery... So Maz's support, we don't know what her classification is. If she happens to have evasion and mastery, then this is kind of... like, this isn't nothing if it's evasion mastery. The amount of mastery gains for every other type of mastery are so small that I'm kind of in the who cares camp. Mastery is a mechanic you just have to operate in massive amounts to get anywhere, like, tangible. It's cute flavor, but yeah, this effect on the other hand... yeah, just gives you a little bit more speed delta and, you know, effects like getting demoralized in the past or Trey Elite have always been pretty solid. that this will be quite cool. Could be boss Nast ×5, but it's only once per turn, so it doesn't sound like you can just put them in an AoE blender. I think it's just like, check the checkbox, did you do a debuff this turn, get your 1 in true damage AoE, and that's it. Oh, you're saying the ratio. Yeah, true. But generally with these types of effects, CG is pretty conservative, so that doesn't mean it might not be different here, but just generally speaking, if we look at precedent, it's unlikely to be nuts. Okay. Zeta Omicron Keeper Secrets CD4. Maz steals stealth, resets its duration, and grants it to all non-tank pirate allies. And she steals 1 stack of profit that she grants it to enemies from each enemy until the end of the encounter. So is this a non-combat? Like it doesn't... Yeah, this attack can't be evaded, so it's not like Foresight stops you. So she steals 1 stack of profit from each enemy, which means that she effectively gets 5. And... this does not say limit to once per turn, so this sounds like just 5 profit to everybody. Okay. All allies are pirates. So basically, she's kind of... she gets like 5 casts of this ability to ramp. Well, I guess she can do damage with other abilities to steal it as well. Alright, we're working with lots of profit. If all allies are pirates and there are no... okay, there's the first factional that I remember seeing. If all allies are pirates and there's no GL allies, inflict all enemies with 3 stacks of exposed for 2 turns. And the target enemy's cooldowns are increased by 1. Inflict all enemies with 3 stacks of expose is... okay, so you're thinking 60% health damage bomb. I'm thinking... we're in a world with increasing amounts of debuff reactivity that some squads will be looking at that and will be Birdman rub their hands. Is like, you just gave my entire team extra turns. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Obviously, yeah, like 3 stacks of expose. There might be other synergies on top of that too, but that's... it's a lot of threat, but it's a double-edged sword. Also can't be resisted. Grand array of no GL allies. If all allies were pirates at the start of battle, Maz steals an additional stack of profit that she granted to enemies from each enemies until the end of the encounter. All enemies had their cooldowns increased by 1 instead. Okay. Hey, we called an increase. Obviously quite scary. Can't be evaded, can't be resisted. 10 profit to the squad instead of just 5. If target enemy had lost all 5 stacks of profit given from Maz, death mark them until the end of the encounter? Huh. If they already had death mark, set target enemy to 100 max health until the end of the encounter. Target enemy was a GL, inflict them with the armor shred instead. Wilds. Will this armor shred be bugged? I don't bet against stuff being bugged lately. Not since the beta program went away, man. Perhaps. Yeah, I mean... it's pretty potent. Still just a non-combat ability, though. Like, this is pretty much exclusively econ plus the AoE equivalent increase. Interesting. So far, I'm not really seeing much that makes me assume that SM33 will want to be here. I mean, nothing to imply that he wouldn't want to be here. Like, he would be very happy to get all the profit crit chance as well, and the crit damage. But... cooldown of 5, excuse you? Dispel all debuffs on all pirate and smuggler allies. If all allies are pirates and there were no GL allies at the start of battle, Call all pirates to assist, dealing 40% less, and they gain 50% TM and have their cooldowns reduced by 1. Okay, that's a very high impact button. Cooldown of 5 is perhaps warranted. Also, we have to keep in mind that, like, she does have her bonus turn mechanic. That, cooldown of 5 isn't necessarily an actual cooldown of 5. Deathmark seems good for SM33. Yeah, I mean, he'd be very happy with it, of course, but... She self-calls, so it's effectively cooldown 4. Hopefully? That's how it reads. Where was it? I misspelled profit with a typo. That's why it did not show up. Also, crucially, the maximum cap for profit is removed only for Maz. Is it capped at 5 for everyone else? Hmm. Yeah, it seems to be. And yeah, with her bonus turns, if you can rack them up decently, it shouldn't actually be that hard to cycle back to it. Deal special damage to target enemy, inflict them with healing immunity and pinned for 1 turn resistible. If the target enemy is Sith, healing immunity and pinned can't be evaded or resisted. Okay. She hates Sith. Got it. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. This feels like simultaneous JMK and Treya hate, which hits my current defensive leanings pretty hard. It doesn't, ironically, hit the rest of the meta that hard, but this is... So far, this kit kind of just says, fuck me, as far as I can tell. Don't know if it'll be defensively viable. I guess it depends on, like, her base speed. We had, what, 30 speed lead? Let's see kicks. Light side. Was she also light side? She is also light side. I'm not necessarily hard complaining about it, but the nature of Datacrons means that, like, any mixed faction, like, Seer is the easiest example, right? Seer, like, okay, we have light side bulk right now. Are you running light side bulk with 2 or 3 light side characters? It's thematics getting a little bit in the way of mechanics here, at least for squad balance purposes. Now, having 1 foot on each side can be beneficial sometimes. It can let you or give you access to certain effects, but I don't know. I feel like it tends to hurt more often than it tends to help. Light side has the healer tag, which is exceedingly rare these days. Clone Trooper Pirate Scoundrel. Republic Medicore. Final text, Kix has plus 20 speed for each pirate ally below 100% health and stealth for 1 turn whenever he falls below 100% health. Only once per encounter. If Maz is the leader, all pirate allies gain 20% bonus protection and tenacity for 1 turn at the start of the encounter. If Pirate King Hondo Onaka or Maz Kanata... Oh, so he is flexible, I guess. The cap for profit is removed for kicks. I forget. Do all the pirates have profit cap removal? I don't remember. Quig Gold says if he has 5 or more stacks, but I don't think it says his capper is removed anymore anywhere. I don't know. I'm doing a really cursory control F through SWJG. I'm not seeing anything like that, so it seems more like Maz and Kicks have it than the existing two. Oh, where were we? Cap for profit is removed. Whenever a pirate ally is inflicted with healing immunity or shock, Kicks dispels all debuffs on himself, gains speed for 1 turn, and 20% TM. And he assists himself the next time he uses a special. Interesting. I mean, healing immunity is getting around these days. Shock to a lesser degree. The start of his turn, pirate allies below 100% health gain evasion up for 1 turn. Otherwise, they gain 20% offense for 1 turn. During Kicks' turn, his health and protection recovered abilities gain an additional 4% healing for each stack of profit on them. If there are no allied GLs and there's an active ally, if Kicks has 3+ stacks of profit the first time each pirate ally will be defeated, the defeated ally is revived with 30% health and protection. And Kicks loses 3 stacks of profit. Okay. Crucially, it is a revive and not a savior. Also, it's only reviving you with 30% health and protection, which... Eey. I mean, you would rather have the revive than not have it, but leaving you alive at 30% is... I mean, we've seen that happen with units like Captain Han Solo and such before, and... Well, you can lose them just as easily as you get them back. If Kicks had 5+ stacks of profit whenever he revives a pirate ally, the revived ally gains 3 stacks of Endure. Can't be instantly defeated. The first time this character will be reduced to 1% health. Dispel 1 stack of Endure and recover 1% health, which can't be prevented. Okay. So slight insurance policy. Yeah, I mean, it's better than nothing. It's unique flavor, to be sure. Major questions for how the squad is going to sustain itself. Well, I guess we'll see. All in TW, Kicks gains 20% CA defensive tenacity for the rest of the battle whenever a pirate ally falls with 100% health. Feels like Flavors of Jolie. Whenever Kicks revives a pirate ally, they gain a bonus turn and 100% offense for 1 turn. Cooldowns are reset, and if they're a tank, they taunt for 2 turns. Interesting. Otherwise, they stealth for 2 turns. That will help. Kind of wish I was base kit, but sure. If a pirate ally was unable to be revived by Kicks, all active pirate allies gain relic stats for the rest of the encounter. And 20% bonus protection for 2 turns. Whenever pirate ally gains Endure, they gain damage immediately until the start of their next turn, which can't be copied, dismal, or prevented. Weird. Like, you get the stealth backing them, you get the locked DI backing them. It broadly seems like a good Omicron. But it's a bit goofy that almost all of its value is about losing units. Which, I mean, obviously, right? Like, if there's a JMK on the field, an Omicron based around losing it is just guaranteed value. But once you get past that point, it gets a little bit murkier of like, I don't know. There's always been a bit of a weird thing about like trying to set out with a strategy to get your ass kicked professionally. At the very least, I'm thinking in terms of offense right now. Defensively, you expect to lose units, so like that's kind of just value. Will it be good on defense though? I mean, you kill someone, they gain endure, they gain lock the eye for 1 turn, they go into stealth. That would at least be annoying. I don't know if that makes a defense squat, but that certainly doesn't hurt. It seems very defense coded at the very least. Emergency med pack, cooldown of 5 Zeta. Revive a random powered ally with 50% health and protection. 50% is a better number than 30%. I checked the numbers. If the revived pirate ally is a tank, they taunt for 2 turns, otherwise they stealth for 2 turns. I do like the whole role contextual tank revive taunts, everyone else stealth. Cool feature. All pirate allies recover 10% health and protection. So you're effectively reviving with 60, I guess. If no pirate ally was revived, reduce the cooldown of this ability by 2. So what's the rest of the effects? This ability gains additional effects depending on how many stacks of profit Kix has. Loses 1 stack of profit for each effect triggered. 3 stacks of profit, 30% heal. 10 plus stacks of profit. The weakest pirate ally gains damage immune for 1 turn locked. For 10 stacks though? Well, okay. You're not spending 10 stacks, right? You're spending 2 stacks, is what this sounds like. So you're technically, I guess, spending 5 stacks? Did I remember there's a base cost of 3? Am I crazy? I guess I'm crazy. Okay, minus 2 stacks for that. That's relatively harmless. So if you don't need to revive every 3 turns, you can give someone 1 stack of... No, I said stack. You can give someone 1 turn of lock DI. Add more heal. House adding as arrives, so like 30 goes to 50 and 50 to 70. I did forget about that. Or was that? I saw the protection recovery abilities gain additional 4% healing once per turn, stacking max. Why does it say once per turn? I thought I understood that until I read that. Once per turn, stacking max 20%? Is it just saying, like, he takes a turn with profit once, you get 4%? You take another turn, you're up to 8%, as long as you still have profit. Another turn, you're at 12? Or is it... But it says once per turn. Or is it just saying once per turn for, like, the first heal you do? I feel like it could go both ways. I thought this was very straightforward until I saw the once per turn. Okay, explosive response, cooldown of 3, dispels all debuffs on himself, deal special damage to all enemies, inflict healing immunity for 2 turns, and steal crit hit immunity. Heal over time, health up, health steal up, protection over time, and protection up. 50 buffs were stolen, grant them all to pirate allies, and reset their duration. For each enemy that didn't have any buffs, stolen Kix gains 1 stack of profit for the rest of battle. I see. So I had this question to begin with, and it seems to be true. So if they don't have the thing you're trying to steal, you don't get it, is how it seems. This kind of seems to confirm it. Which makes this squad suddenly a lot more matchup dependent than first blush. Target me as Sith, their cooldowns increased by 1, otherwise call target other pirate allies to assist dealing 50% more damage. Okay. Rapid Fire Blast, and he can self-assist with us, so there's a decent amount writing on this ability. Deal special damage twice to target enemy and grants all pirate allies tenacity up for 1 turn. For each critical hit scored, dispel all debuffs from a random debuff pirate ally. Now, this is not Steel Tenacity up. Quiggles, I think, is the one who had Steel Tenacity up. So this will just give it to you. It's like Riz Basic. For each critical hit scored, dispel debuffs from a random debuffed pirate ally. Crucially, it says a random debuffed pirate ally. I think it's Captain Rex just said dispel debuffs from a random ally, and so it would... It's one of the bug reports that I sent for Phoenix. He will just whiff his cleanse sometimes and just dispel somebody who has nothing on them. If no pirate allies were debuffed, a random pirate ally with less than 100% health recovers 5% health, which I assume would also proc that unique. And a random pirate ally with less than 100% protection recovers 5% protection. Interesting that it can hit different people. During Kix' turn, he gains 1 stack of Profit Max 5 for the rest of battle and Retribution for 2 turns. Very interesting healer. The most logical thing is that the early Marquis are set out to be with Maz and the later ones will be with Pirate King Hondo. I tend to agree. But the later pirates are like Skeleton Crew, right? So SM33, you would think, might end up being with the later pirates. What was the era announcement? Who is next on the list? Era of Piracy. Hondo, Silva, Vane, Brutus. There's only 9 units, right? 7, SM33 is 8, Pirate King Hondo is 9? I guess old Hondo exists? Huh. I don't know. I mean, maybe SM33 flexes as well. But I don't know that we expect Maz to be taking too much heat. Unless we're just like talking Maz is on defense. The enemy team is just trying to focus the shit on Maz. In which case you wouldn't really mind having SM33, but I'd imagine that SM33 will just get focused before Maz at that point. Does SM33 existing imply that Hondo will be a tank? Hmm. So the weird thing about this is when I looked at SM33, I was like, okay, maybe they won't always necessarily hit the leader, but like the first AoE would at least get SM33 online. But you start off with Foresight. So it would take 2 AoEs to actually have someone damage the lead slot. that could backfire on you, where you would actually rather, like, I don't know, you imagine just like an SLK swipe. Well, I guess SLK poke into swipe, like poke with Dispel the Foresight, that would be still a fair game. But there's probably some squad like that, right? They gave that attack 1000% health steal. It's just flavor, is it not? Who does it harm? All right. I don't know. Like, so Quigold is a very good tank. 2-turn long time with excellent overall stats. Is kind of percent health resistant now, or at least against Sith, which is like already kind of a lot of what we just saw. I don't know. You got a good tank line, you got a good damage line, you got a decent sounding healer line. Our reactivity is like a little bit on the low end, but I don't know. It's kind of weird to project how this team is gonna go. SM33's damage should be excellent, right? You got a lot of stacking profit. You got that deathmark mechanic. I imagine this squad will see good use. Who are you? Let me ask. It's like 270% ratio basic or something like that. About around 300% ratio on this. But doesn't he do one into the other? Where is it? Attack again, dealing 50% more damage. You have no bonus of stolen. Attack again. Okay, so this move is kind of like a... My brain just went to like OG Ezra for a special. Or kind of like Bodyguard Stun, where like opportunistically you want them to not actually have anything for you to steal. I mean, to be honest, the damage math on this looks pretty decent as well. Armor Pen's okay. It's not Dark Trooper, but he's not Kestis, at the very least. Look, man, I don't know. Like, the damage presence on this squad is very, very real. It feels like it's a more upfront burst than Bad Batch 2, less ceiling than Bad Batch 2. Like, Bad Batch 2 will ramp past the squad pretty quickly, but this squad feels like more aggro. It does feel reminiscent of Bad Batch 2 in some ways, right? You got the weird stealth, you got the weird janky, like, pseudo-revive. They're not similar to each other, but they're like birds of a feather. Poor Cal. Hey, listen. I shouldn't have done him dirty if they didn't want it said. Yeah, again, like, I didn't really care about the pirate era in itself, but the hope was if they were going to do pirates, hopefully it opened up interesting design space for them to mess around. And Kicks does seem interesting. Maz seems like more straightforward, but like, this is like a pretty good button, this is like a pretty good button, so no complaints. I don't know, it's just a very weird team to project because so much of what they're doing is more about their own game plan rather than like a lot of Galaxy Heroes kits lately were just like, here's our game plan to kill you, and then here's the pile of effects and everything we've accrued to like stop you from killing us. We have that to a little bit of degree, but a lot of it is just like, fuck man, I don't know, Quiggle exists. And that's hard to argue with, right? Although I guess this means that we want Quiggle to be slow. Kind of like Temple Guard, right? But in this case, instead of 2-turn handcuff that we're trying to preserve, we're just trying to preserve 2-turn lock taunt. Fuck, dude. Quiggle is just like, alright. Let's see. Unironically, are we just kind of slamming him in this area now? Are they re-releasing Lightspeed bundles? We have not gotten to that article yet. We're about to. I just want to puzzle this together real quick. Like, we're unironically, are we just kind of like here? Well, to be honest, I think it's more like this. Well, no. Original plan was better. Nothing found. Alright, just give me, yeah, the one mod that exists that has 15 speed. Fucking excellent, man. Really? Alright, I will have to farm some mods for Quiggle, apparently. I guess also technically for Temple Guard. I mean, maybe I have like this. But it's still 10 speed. We will have to do better. I had kind of pulled back on working on speedless tank mods, but CG is making a market very, very quickly. Interesting. Cats are fighting, question mark? Yeah, I didn't entirely hear that, but that sounded not playful. They've never been actually hostile before, so I really doubt that's what's happening, but I'm listening. Alright, so in my attempt to add no speed, we still have... Wait, we're at 180? Am I crazy? He's 168? I thought he was... Oh, he is 168. I mean, we could work this one out, maybe. This would be more Quig-centric. As long as it continues to miss speed. But anyway, for those of you who don't know, what you need to know is Quiggled is a slab of meat. His base stats are very fucking good. So you will be well suited to just slap on some mods like this or this if you were just looking for him to play that role. Like, he has some okay buttons, but frankly, I think the team is probably just way happier to have him to sit behind. Must be missing the news in the update. Alright, shall we just talk about it? Why does that keep popping up? Just in case anything changed. Seems like no. We have a massive update coming to the Holotable. We'll be introducing a brand new item and some fundamental changes to how you power up your roster. First major info. Relics at 4 stars. Removed or dramatically reduced star requirements on gear pieces, so characters can now reach relic levels at only 4 stars. Basically the end of an era. They're not even the end of an era, it's just a total paradigm shift. Although, frankly, it's been so long since low star characters were ever really even in conversation. Like, obviously, we've had some decent recent releases at like 3 star. But those characters were just kind of like good enough that I still never really needed to like know the star scaling. It was just like, okay, yeah, Crosshair, pretty solid at 3 star. You can still make that shit work. Shit like that. Or like Darkside clones. I think plenty of people use that low star. The only requirement is that applying gear pieces at gear 12 needs a character to be level 85 and 4 stars. So this possibly means that like new releases could maybe have a meta impact? Does it not? It's hard to wrap my head around. Stars have just been like so fundamental that I can't even really envision what you're missing by not being 7 star. Obviously you're locked into like higher relics, but the only requirement is that applying gear pieces at gear 12 needs to be level 85 4 star. You can get to relics earlier. There are now star requirements for higher relics. R3 requires 5 star, R4 requires 6 star, 5 plus requires 7. Okay. So 5 plus is the Datacron level 9 cap, right? So you need 7 stars if you want to interact with Datacrons? Well, specifically level 9's 4-sided character. Interesting. Do I even have a low star character to like try to remember how this shit works? Isn't like stars basically more into like the core 3 stat scalings in a weird way? The game just hasn't really operated that way in literally years. Wild. I don't know what this means entirely. This could be an interesting time. New item, Lightspeed tokens. Lightspeed tokens are a new consumable that instantly upgrades a character to a specific power level. Think of it like an item that will boost specific characters similar to the Hyperdrive and Lightspeed bundles. So immediately my mind jumps to like, in a lot of card games that I've played, it's called a wild card, which is just like, hey, yeah, like effectively what they are giving you is just like a gift card. It's just like, hey, this can just be whatever the fuck you want. Like, instead of it being like you work on X path to unlock X characters, you know, like I screwed around on Magic the Gathering Arena the other day, and I spent all my wild cards on Sephiroth because I thought that was dumb and funny. And it was dumb and funny, but that was my choice to make. I didn't specifically work on Sephiroth. That's like, does this just mean that like new releases are basically Grand Arena viable for everyone? Like, is there no longer the whole waiting period? That would be dope. That would be incredible for the game, I think. So this gives a lot of flexibility depending on how they're earned. How they work. What do you need to know? Do we know where they come from yet? We'll find LSTs in the store and as rewards on the free episode track and the episode pass. We also plan to use them as rewards in other ways in the future. Okay, free track and the $20 pass. CD is really just trying, like, if you put any money into the game whatsoever, they're just trying to make the episode pass just like the clear no-brainer. Make slow farming enjoyable. I'm gonna be real with you guys. Like, there are plenty of characters who you could strategically just farm last because, like, you know, I'm thinking of, like, I mean, topical to recent conversations, like OG Bo-Katan. She is just there to provide her unique largely, right? Like, she's there to give you 100% protection to the squad, protection regen whenever people assist. Are you gonna care that much if she's at like 4 to 6 star? If you're a new player, I think you would be fucking thrilled that you could just have a 4-star Bo-Katan giving you the shit that you care about. Yeah, I don't know. This seems like a very healthy change. Light speed tokens come in 5 tiers. Gear 10, 12, R1. So ability level 7 for the most part means you're never going to get like Zetas or Omicrons off of it, right? Okay, so tier 1 is like not terrible. I like tier 1 just makes me think like, okay, if you're a new player, it seems to me like carbs and stun guns and cuffs are like kind of dead, but if you're a new player, it's probably still a decent problem. This will help you with that to a fair degree. Imagine 2+ is generally, like, for me, honestly, 3+ would probably be like the hope, just to like get you past all the, because right, if you're saving gear 12 stuff, that just effectively means you get more relic materials. And then anything past that is just like a bonus, right? This is just saving you bronzium wiring and all the good stuff. What you need to know: don't hoard light side. Oh, I was right the first time. Fuck me. Light side. Now I just got it wrong after fake correcting myself. This is a nightmare. A lightspeed token is tied to a specific list of characters when it's released, and that list will never be updated to include units released later. So there's just like era-specific tokens, basically. Gear 10 save some Kairos and new characters. Good point. I was thinking more towards older characters when I said it. You are 100% correct. Although it says it's for older characters, so I wonder how much that will end up being true. Additionally, in order for us to eventually remove old and unused tokens from data, all tokens in your inventory expire exactly 6 months after the date and time you acquired them. Use them when you get them. Okay, so people have a tendency to hoard in this game, and very often it's a good idea to hoard, but that has always kind of tipped over the top, where there are definitely situations where people hoard where it's like, dude, you are just holding yourself back. And this could have easily turned into that sort of deal. Era locked tokens can only be used for characters from the legacy era. Everything before the era of apprentices on 2024 with Huyang. Generally, tokens are for units from eras that ended at least a year ago. Launch factions, smugglers, and seps cannot be used on GLs, Conquest, Journey Guide, and capital ships. I mean, that makes sense. Conquest units maybe would have been nice, but it appears they are not intent on budging regarding Conquest. Got a useless light speed token. If you get a token, but all your eligible characters are already past that upgrade level, you can dismantle it for some rewards. Kairos, Carbonite, Data. I mean, Data plus Bronzium is not bad. I wouldn't say these are like insane, but I'm not complaining. I'll take them. I just kind of wish that this was just like mod materials in there a little bit more than. I mean, Erodiums I absolutely need. Chromiums are the ones that are like never an issue, right? To make lightspeed tokens work more effectively, we tore down some old walls in the unit upgrade system. Unit level is no longer gated by your player level. Units now have all their abilities unlocked right from the start. Unit ability tiers are no longer gated by a unit's gear tier. Unit level no longer gates ability upgrades. Ship reinforcement abilities are no longer gated by star level. Capital ship abilities are still gated by the ship's star level. Yeah, I was about to ask. Okay, so this shit is still broadly held intact. It would kind of have to be, I would imagine. I think these changes makes it so we can do, say, R5 raid tier with 5-star units. That is a good question. Well, you have to be R7 to do R5, right? So that would be off limits, but like R3 raid tier should be viable, right? Menus have had their star unlock requirements reduced to 2 stars. Fine. That sounds fine. Living up units just got cheaper. The credit and ship material cost has been slashed by 50% across the board. Earned all possible rewards from a recurring event. The event will no longer appear on the events table. This includes all rerun events, fleet mastery events, and proving grounds. You can finally say goodbye to Finalizer. I'm gonna be honest, that shit didn't bother me at all. It bothered me more when it was on the left side, but the moment they shuffled this to the right side, it was like, fucking, who cares to me? But I saw a ton of complaints, so it's good that they're doing it. Those people will be happy. You can now sim up to 100 battles at once on campaign nodes as long as you have the energy. This only really affects like people who are porting energy for GLs, right? It saves you a few clicks. I don't think this will hit that much, but I did hoard for Ahsoka. Speaking of which, it might be time to start hoarding soon, now that I think about it. But now with the new energy change, that's not even a fucking problem. I just do mod energy. What the hell? That's so easy. Actually just free. Well, there's no need to overkill it, but it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to start soon. Wait. It's not end of year, is it? No, I think it just started now. I think I'm actually late. Well, fuck. Problems for later. A new icon next to the unit's name on every unit detail screen displays the icon for the era in which that unit was released. I mean, that seems like the sort of thing that sounds minor, but will just be like a nice feature frame of reference. Mod Energy doesn't give GL tickets. No, I'm saying I'll get my daily 600 with Mod Energy. That way hoarding energy won't matter. You can now sort your character inventory by relic amplifier level. Thank fucking God. That is the genuinely like one of the best quality of life at this post. It's about damn time. I've added new filters to see which characters have upgrades available for Lightspeed Token, Relic Amp level, Omicron, Zeta gear. That also sounds pretty good. Any ability upgrade and unit level upgrade filters are now available for both characters and ships. That sounds kind of irrelevant for me, but whatever. Merges have been made to streamline tutorials for new players and let them get to the Holotables faster. Version 2 quests granted to all players at level 40. I mean, the onboarding for Galaxy Heroes isn't bad, but it's so handholdy and annoying that it tends to be kind of restrictive, so streamlining getting them into the game sounds pretty good. No multi-tag support. We got it on .gg, so I'm a little bit less worried about having it in-game, but I hear you. Thank God, man. I'm so happy about this. I'm happy about all of this. And then the one thing I saw, we're excited to deliver this to you all and cannot wait to hear your feedback on this as the foundation for our next large-scale update coming later this year. I think, goes without saying, a lot of people are hoping to hear stuff regarding, like, GAC and TW. We will see. Siege has been very focused on catch-up mechanics in the early game. which feels like it would hopefully tee up to you work on catching people up to the end game and then you worry about the end game. But yeah, the end game has not seen much support in quite a long time, so I think it'd be easily said to be very welcome for a lot of us. Oh, this is the capstone for our catch up, and now we move on to endgame love. Well, technically, if this is the foundation for the update, then this update will probably also be catch up oriented, right? But yeah, I agree that like once we're past this point, it's like okay, foundation has been built, highway to the end game has been built. Now let's talk about it. New PvE roguelike mode. I mean, you laugh, but Conquest, the building blocks for Conquest were should like Slay the Spire. So technically, we're already there. It's just the problem being because Conquest is forced to be built as a rewards distribution system rather than a proper roguelike, it ends up taking on the form of a chore rather than being an enjoyable roguelike. I actually think you could make Conquest a pretty cool mode with some minor tweaks, but those tweaks would make it absolutely infuriating for people who are just trying to get to Redbox, right? That's the kind of the nature I imagine of designing for this game, is at the end of the day, Conquest kind of has to be built to be pretty beatable. Yeah, I don't know, man. Look, I've had experiences with Conquest where it was like, yo, you've got like 30 minutes to get like 100 tickets. And that put itself into a position where it's like every battle matters, every choice matters, and it actually got like super strategic of like looking for ways to do like multiple feats at once. That was one of the best Conquest experiences I've ever had. That was real shit. But you would never. I'm not even saying that's a good idea, right? People would hate it because at the end of the day, you're just trying to get Redbox. You're just trying to get your Conquest character and move the fuck on with life. But it was cool, and it was like, I mean, again, right? Everything CG has to either work towards monetization or some form of progression. Like some sort of just like nightmare mode Conquest that was just like optional for fun. And it was just like permadeath or whatever, like any sorts of crazy modifier ideas you could think of, would be incredibly cool and fun. But I don't think it would be fun to a lot of the player base. It would just be for sickos, I guess. But yeah, man, this is is it unfair to say this might just be like the biggest change they've ever done? It feels like a huge swing. Like, I have no idea what the fuck the game is gonna look like a month from now. I'll be very curious to see how, like, yeah, man. For all, like, if you get to 5-star, that 5-star, as I recall, lets you run the Relic 6 stuff, right? Or not the Relic 6, the level 6 Datacron stuff. So you're just like in there. But there are plenty of teams where you don't necessarily, or maybe you have that character Relic 9 and you just get the full benefit, right? Like, isn't this just like team has to be R3, so you can have a 5-star R3 and you're just in there? It adds another layer to farm planning for sure. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Holy fuck, this has such bad roll quality. I'm just now realizing. Minimum. Minimum. Damn. Never lucky. Yeah, dude. I'm so curious on where we are a year from now. Like, if CG is doing all this teeing up to, like, make it easier for people to participate in the end game, and then they work on the end game next, the game could look very different from its current state. I have been saying for a long time that I really badly wanted this game to have catch-up mechanics, and it feels like we're getting there. It's cool. Happy to see it. More lifeblood, more competition, more interests, more theory crafters, more energy. Just more. So can we... What was I? Saw the reply. We could be Honda ready with a Thano at 4-star? Yeah, that's a very, very crazy question. It's... it may be, man. I don't know. For all we know, maybe CG ends up making future requirements like 7-star Relic 4. Or maybe they even end up updating these, right? Like, hey, when we publish the requirements for Hondo, this wasn't necessarily set in stone. We did update this now. And I don't think that would be, like, unfair, right? But fuck, man. If they're just like, yeah, dude. If it's 3, we're fine for you to get it early. If it's 6 or 7, we want you to be a 7-star, right? The 7-star requirement is kind of soft implied just by the number being above a certain layer, right? You can only buy one of the upcoming Lightspeed bundles. What would I recommend? I'm gonna be honest, I have not seen them. But also, I mean, depending on what's in them, I don't know if it's necessarily the best investment, depending on, like, your disposable income, your interest in the game and all that. Like, I don't know, but I assume that, like, the episode track pass is still, like, the best place to spend money in terms of just showering you with shit. RIP lower relic level requirements. I mean, they just put out Hondo, like, at this time. You have to imagine they were at least working on some version of this at that time that I don't think... Like, I really doubt that CG blindsided themselves with this, right? At least so far. It seemed... Well... New character at R3. Old characters at 976. Seems deliberate. It's just one tune? Yeah, but we'll see. Why assume the worst? We'll see what happens. Anything could happen. But yeah, interesting times for sure. But I guess Pirates will be playable in come November. Cool. I'm still... Man, I kind of wish I just ran Maz first at this point, right? I would have rather had Maz and then worked on SM33 now than vice versa. It would have felt way more appealing to be, like, rolling into Pirates time. I think the last Murky will be R9 requirement. I mean, it really depends on how they're theming Hondo, but I don't really see any reason to expect it. Because CG, that's why. See, everyone always says because CG, but if you go by their batting average, it tends to not be true. I'm not saying it won't happen, but, like, why assume? But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna get out of here for a bit. Interesting times we live in. It's cool. Good shit. I'm very curious to see what that bigger update is going to be, but I don't know what the timetable on that is going to be. But, yeah. I'm going to have to figure out what I'm doing about GL Hondo, because fuck, man, I don't have an energy horde. Oh, I was... Ahsoka being at, like, the end of the year kind of set me to expecting that it would also be the end of the year, but I guess it's at the end of this era, huh? Whoopsie. Whatever. It'll be fine. Probably. There's at least... Let's see, I guess. How much energy do we need again? I'm never really worrying about, like, day one ultimate. Fucking, I can wait a week for an ultimate. For all I care. Like, that to me is not the end of the world. I just want to, like, get the immediate unlock and maybe a head start on ults. Oh yeah, are we also getting Datacron set tomorrow? Or is that too soon? It might be like a week out, now that I think about it. But either way, it will be soon. But yeah, alright. I am out of here. You'll enjoy the rest of your night. And yeah, halfway through the week. Take care.